Have you ever fallen in love at the wrong time? Pined for the wrong person? Someone you don't understand, who maybe didn't understand you. Do you remember love that felt deviant, degenerate? Jeanne Moreau came to symbolize the wrong side of desire. The people we lust after despite common sense and established lives. Her face, the lines by her eyes, her perpetually sleepy countenance, speaking to a never-ceasing exhaustion, searching for the right sort of affection. All this spoke to male filmmakers, told stories of late-night conversations, drunken flirtations, intellectual congress. She smoldered, burned a hole in canvas movie screens the world over. She captured the attention and affection of dozens of artists. She married twice, once to William Friedkin, and she's supposed to have had affairs with Louis Malle, Francois Truffaut, and Miles Davis, among others. In Malle's movies, she appeared to be nothing less than the most beautiful woman who ever lived. The most important relationship she had, however, was with filmmaker Tony Richardson, because their illicit union yielded a forgotten and maligned work of genius. Richardson was married to Vanessa Redgrave. He left her for an affair with Moreau. Richardson and Moreau's first collaboration had quite the pedigree. Based on a Jean Genet story, adapted by Marguerite Duras, photographed by the brilliant David Watkin. It concerns a woman destroying her village. The public suspect a strapping foreign woodcutter. Moreau, the angel of destruction, wants to sleep with him. It was laughed off the screen at the 1966 Cannes Film Festival and barely made anything at the box office. Moreau nearly killed Richardson's career. Their love spawned work that most hated or misunderstood. The film is a beautiful object, a typically incendiary study in desire from Genet. Moreau is Genet, a radical hiding in a provincial purgatory, a destructive, purely sexual force in a town filled with superstitious and close-minded amateur investigators.
Je ne peux pas conclure sur des présomptions. Continuons l'enquête, c'est tout.
Auprès de la vanne. Vous n'avez rien trouvé?
Rien.
Et près de la vanne? Rien. J'ai regardé partout. Oh, il sait s'y prendre. Ils disent tous que c'est l'italien. Ils en sont sûrs.
Ils sont trop contents d'en être sûrs. Et vous savez bien pourquoi.
Ils sentent son odeur sur chacune de leurs femmes.
Non. Manu n'a pas de mobile.
Les incendiaires, tout ça, n'ont jamais de mobile. Ils n'ont qu'une idée, faire le mal.
Non, pas lui. Il ne pourrait pas.
Pourquoi?
Il a les yeux bleus.
She's the sexual tidal wave that haunted Genet works like Our Lady of the Flowers or The Thief's Journal. Watkins' photography turns the town into a maze of shallow focus and naturally occurring prison bars. Everyone assumes they know who's setting the fires and flooding their farms. The world is alight with destruction, wrapped in silky black and white images. The truth is simpler and more complicated. Moreau's schoolteacher, an undervalued intellectual, is causing damage all over this small-minded village because no one or nothing meets her sexual demand. The only suspect is also the only one capable of meeting her needs. She will have him. He wants her, but they must play a game first. Their nocturnal visit is too frank and sexual for most audiences, hence the tense chastising the film received at Cannes. When something simple but forbidden is laid bare for audiences, only so many people can make sense of the criminally sensuous. When humans become animalistic in their needs, too many Homo sapiens recoil rather than recognize themselves in the lust-bent abstraction. We were all beasts once. No one likes to admit that they, too, are frail, that they could make mistakes in the throes of passion, that something inside them could also be evil, heedlessly. And so art that deals with the blur that results from sexual freedom is largely called too much, too little, too different, too wrong. Richardson attempted with Moreau another statement on the search for understanding under the shadow of infidelity when they made The Sailor from Gibraltar a few months later, which dramatized his split from Redgrave.
Do you want to go for another swim?
No, we must talk about it.
It's no use.
If it's just the job I could change to, we could look for something together.
It won't work.
It failed too. The movies Richardson made speak to his crisis of conscience, and yet audiences didn't feel like humoring the artist, despite the fact that he had curried quite a bit of public favor leading up to this misbegotten double feature. He had introduced audiences to authentic drama, to a certain sort of poetic honesty, to turn historical romance and lust into something understandable and believable. Mademoiselle was a bridge too far. Tell the truth, but do not make art for art's sake. Mademoiselle proffers that sexuality builds like a cancer in lovers who need like-minded partners, like surgeons, to cure us of loneliness, of simple-minded sexual morality. Genet saw love as both prison and freedom. Mademoiselle is a prurient jailbreak. Moreau and Richardson never married. He stopped being an auteur that attracted millions, turning gifted outsider instead, dying of AIDS in 1991. She became a sort of benevolent matriarch of French cinema, a living legend whose presence once guaranteed both risk and reward. Mademoiselle is a blistering what-if, a testament to the power of longing, their electric passion written into every dislocated composition and flickering monochrome dreamscape. Cinematic calligraphy from the entwined hands of director and star is so rarely this decadent. Richardson and his hungry camera stared deeply into a pair of beautiful eyes, sunk into a tired and pale yet unspeakably alluring face, and found everything. Good, evil, release, violence. Genet's all-consuming fire of passion. A future. An escape. He never got the chance to spend his life looking into French cinema's most expressive gaze, but he imagined life with her. In The Sailor from Gibraltar, a manic-depressive but luscious and never-ending voyage around the world looking for a phantom, he daydreams about what their life could have been. But it's Mademoiselle that contains the spark of their courtship, the seed of their affair. And a rapturously alienating, disturbingly erotic tale of devilish chemistry. Moreau's powerful need, her Byzantine thirst, can only be answered through performative chaos and submission. The same is true of cinema, an art form forever pining for the approval of its audience, the favor of a fickle critical body, a few more moments to plead its case. Richardson and Moreau's collaboration was important, vibrant, and alive. But they drifted apart, in love at the wrong time.